Hello, Exiles. This is Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and welcome to days, I guess, 5 and 6, kind of going towards 7. It's been almost a week since I started this character. I think I started on Monday last week, but it was in the evening, so it's been nearly a week. Currently level 92. This is my Frost Blades Heatshiver Trickster. Still don't have a Yoke of Suffering, but I did finally get a rare armor, so I was able to get Fortify. I also fit in Grace, but it was very difficult to do so, and I'll explain that. I'm just going to do a quick little Underground Sea, and we're going to go ahead. It's not a huge one, it's just like Elemental Weakness, additional projectiles, and reduced recovery rate, which is, still going to be slightly challenging because we're still a little bit underpowered for some of the harder tier 16s, but for most tier 16s, it's not too bad. I'm doing altar farming, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just run straight to the boss. I apologize if it lags. Let's go ahead and kill something so I can get my life back. Because, yeah, just the monster density in general is not super... like, sometimes I get lag even when I'm not recording. Just from the monster density of Underground Sea, but I want to farm it because it's one of my favorite altar farming locations because of that high monster density. So there you go. We are able to permafreeze most tier 16 map bosses now. DPS is okay. I had a 7.6 million PoE or POB DPS, but I had to drop it by about 1.2 million in order to make some things work defensively because I was dying a lot. I got stuck at level 91. I didn't get to play a ton this weekend, but I played a lot last night and this morning to kind of make up for it. So got that, and the time I did play this weekend also wasn't particularly productive. In fact, it was counterproductive in some ways because I made some maybe not so great decisions, but if I remember, I'll try to talk about that. But I should have basically dropped some DPS, but I got some pretty big upgrades that kind of made up for that. But basically, I should have dropped DPS for survivability a little bit earlier because, yeah, basically, we're in a situation where that is the trade-off that we can make. As you can see, DPS isn't super bad. In fact, it's pretty good for this stage of the game. Got some nice upgrades, some really cool ones to talk about as well. Oop, don't want to be in that explosion when that happens. Oh, this guy's Soul Eater. I should probably make sure he's dead. There you go. I've messed around with... I fought a Lunaris Touched Soul Eater earlier in a level 87 Abyssal Depths that killed me a bunch of times. I was trying to kill it because, I wanted the big drops from the God Touched, and I was unable to do so because before I noticed it had Soul Eater, I dragged it in, because a lot of times when I'm fighting something big like that, I'll just drag it into a bunch of other mobs. Oh, I just got a duplicated Exalt. Nice. I was just going to complain later on about not having an Exalt to craft the highest tier of penetration on my new claw, but I guess I'll be able to do that right after this. So that's pretty nice. Seems like almost every time I record, I get some pretty lucky drops. I guess I'm just going to have to kind of... We'll stall this out a little bit more. We'll put this over here. There you go. A little late, but... Oh, actually, that doesn't really help. In fact, that makes some of it worse, but that's okay. I'm still not really farming the mirror tablets yet. I'm kind of stocking them up. I'll be able to get a lot of resources there. Oop. As you can see, sometimes I don't kill things even when they're on low health, and that's because I'm using Southbound. Since all of our damage is basically related to freezing, I dropped a Southbound when I was magic finding, but by the way, I have some good magic find gear set up now too. I got a pretty big upgrade. One specific unique dropped. I have dropped 2 Venter's Gambles, but one of them is possibly the worst Venter's Gamble I've ever seen. It's negative in everything. It's almost comical. If I had gotten one that was as good as this one is bad, I'd be set. But yeah, I got one of the worst Ventures gambles I've ever seen, and another also pretty bad one. I'm probably not going to do the. Well, I might come back in after the video and do the. Because I do still need oils, so I might do the blight after the video, but I'm not going to do the blight right now because they take too long and they're kind of annoying. So do that. And I pretty much cleared all of this out for the most part. I didn't get a ton of altars. In fact, I don't think I got a single altar, which is unlucky. Last map I did, I got quite a few of the map currency altars. All right, that's everything. Go ahead and pop out and get started here. So, all right. Hey, put those exalts in there. Check out this ring. It's bad as predicted. And got some map returns. Got some good stuff there. So yeah, things are shaping up okay. I was able to add Grace, which means I dropped Defiance Banner. I'm not using that currently. I'm also using a level 1 Precision. So I'll kind of explain all of that stuff. So first of all, gear upgrades. New Claw. This claw actually just dropped as is, except for the penetration, and I crafted the pen on it. I didn't have any exalts left because I've been using exalts to craft other stuff. Right now, what I'm going to do is make this even better. So we'll go ahead and drop this in here. So we currently have 10% LE penetration. Hopefully it doesn't hit 11. Okay, 12. I'll take 12. So I get 2 more pen doing that. Not too bad. A little bit of an upgrade. So I got that. New body armor. It's the one I've been sitting on. I did craft it. I have the 6% additional physical damage reduction, which is helpful and a lot of life. It's not as good as the physical damage taken as element craft that you get from the unveil, which I still don't have, by the way. I have almost every single unveil, but I never got that one, which is pretty crazy to me. So I have to get that, but I have Fortify now, which is helpful. And I'm looking for a Grand Searing Exarch Embers so that I can get better, something better, because 9% increased effective ore isn't very good, but it's fine for now. I'll just leave it on there. New belt, I think. I don't think I had this before. Chaos Resist. I basically got this item level 88 Stygian Vice, and I threw it into the old Horticrafting station and just hit the Chaos recraft until I got a good Chaos roll with a good life roll. And I kept it specifically. I mean, this isn't the best it could be, but I kept this one specifically because it also rolled increased elemental damage with attack skills. So that's very good. I have the same amulet, but I did use Betrayal in order to turn it into a talisman with one of the benches there, and I happened to hit the percent attributes one. I also, before I did that, swapped the resistance from cold to lightning because I needed that. So yeah, I'm still sitting on the same amulet I've been sitting on for several days, but it's it's no yoke of suffering, but it works out pretty well for now. Heatshiver is still the same. At some point, when there's a lot of dark shrines on the main path, I'm gonna do some Uber Lab runs to try to get the Frost Blades enchant, because that's gonna be a big DPS boost. Still the same shield. I believe this is a new ring. This is really good. It got very high fire and cold resist rolls on it, and then cold damage to attack, strength, little life. But then the open prefix allowed me to craft the minus cost. This gives accuracy. I needed this. So basically, I had this ring. It had cold resist. And by the way, if you ever have a really good ring, but you need another resistance specifically, like you can just... There is the Horticrafting station craft that changes a modifier that grants cold resist into a similar tier modifier that grants fire resist, and it has it for every element, so you can basically swap resistances around on gear if you need specific, because I definitely needed the lightning resist at the time. Southbound is the biggest and best unique gloves you can get if you don't have like the frenzy charge additional strike gloves. I talked about this a little bit, but the 100% increase for freeze duration on enemies is absolutely enormous, and then it has a huge added cold damage to attacks roll, and then cold resist and maximum life is also very good. The downside being your hits can only kill frozen enemies, but we basically have to freeze things anyway in order to get a majority of our DPS. So the downside doesn't really exist for this build in particular. Still running the Atziri's Step, no enchant because I haven't run lab. And that's pretty much the gear update. I did have this really nice, where is it? This really nice ring here that also has, well, I guess it isn't that nice, but it's pretty nice just because it gave me a lot of chaos resist. It gave me 17 more chaos resist. Currently, this is what we're looking like. So with flasks up, our evasion chance is 29,000, which is pretty okay. It'll go up a lot once we get a this 6 linked. Currently, I have counting the jewelers, which I'll swap over to fusings, a little over 800, I think like 830 fusings roughly at the moment. We need 1,500, so we're over halfway there. I would be about 85% there if I hadn't wasted, you know, I'd basically be sure to get it today or tonight if I hadn't wasted a bunch trying to link this earlier. I also put it at 28% quality with perfect fossils. Now, this is a bad base, so maybe that wasn't super worthwhile, but every little bit of evasion is going to help when I do get this. And I haven't crafted the actual stats on it yet, but I'll get to doing that. As far as the skill tree, major changes to the skill tree, mostly out of necessity. First of all, I got a Lethal Pride. I did a 3-way Legion. I was going to wait to do a 4-way, but I'm like, yeah, I'll just try a 3-way. It was fine. It went fine. I got like 2.5 bars of rewards, and I got 2 historic jewels. One of them was this brutal restraint, which is very bad. It's just awful. None of the things on it really helped me at all, but this one's pretty good. So it's actually defensively good in this slot and offensively good in this slot. So I can swap it around. Right now I need more defenses, so I have it down here. But it gives me % life, % increased strength, which gives me life. My strength goes from, if I don't have this, 95 to 184. So it almost literally doubles my strength. It has +1 maximum fortification, melee crit strike chance, melee damage, less extra damage from crit strikes, and crit multi. So it's pretty good overall. Fizzes extra fire if I took Heartseeker, but that isn't really super worth it. One thing to note, this claw has a lot of physical damage on it. And for a while, when I had my higher damage set up before I switched over for Grace, I actually did have the 40% of physical damage converted to cold here. But then when I lowered my damage, I was no longer freezing tier 16 bosses, because I went from like 7.6 million DPS down to like 6.2 million. So I lost 1.4 million DPS, switching things around so I could actually not die. So I just switched over to the freeze duration, which, as you saw, allows me to perma-freeze tier 16 map bosses again, which is kind of nice. So a couple of changes here. I have this, it just has attack speed and crit multi with Ellie skills, so only 2 beneficial, although fire damage does actually increase the damage from Heatshiver as well. So actually this does have 3 good mods. I took all of my 2 or more good mod jewels that I wasn't using, and I used Vol Orbs on all of them until I hit the increased reservation efficiency. And then I also got this Conqueror's efficiency in for the increased reservation efficiency there too. As well as, so I got rid of precision, increased mana reservation efficiency, swapped it over to dexterity's accuracy bonus, grants +3 accuracy rating per dexterity. So I am at 100%, but only 93% against evasive, and it's a little sketchy if we have reduced accuracy on the map as well, but it kind of works out for now. It basically strikes the perfect balance. A big mistake from last time, I didn't actually have 100% spell suppress chance. Because I had Revenge of the Hunted, I had 100% chance when I was at max life, and when I wasn't, I had 93%. This is a big deal because I was randomly taking, not very often, but occasionally, very, very spiky damage. So what I did is I just took this evasion small passive and I crafted Untouchable onto it. So, and I got a little bit of life and dex and stuff on it as well, plus the evasion, which is also very nice. So I do have 100% full-time 100% spell suppression now, which is very cool. So got that. Very, very important to sort that out. I'll be able to fix that later when I have an evasion base body armor, but since armor and energy shield bases can't roll spell suppression, I won't be able to get it that way. Bit unfortunate. Other things I changed, I got out of Revenge of the Hunted entirely to get Survivalist, specifically just to save points because I needed points to go over here. I also got out of Assassination so that I could save points as well. So basically I had to move a bunch of things around just to make things work, but I kind of have a good balance now. I'll be getting into Assassination again. I'll spec, once I get another level, I'll spec out of this node right here and get back into Assassination because that's going to be a little bit better. And also I want to keep to 100% attack speed if possible. And after that, I'll go primarily after defenses, getting back into Revenge of the Hunted, for instance. So that's pretty much the setup. Oh, I also wanted to show this Lethal Pride when it's up here. Grants double damage here and double damage here, which is really nice. Now, there's a lot of irrelevant nodes on this one as well. Burning damage isn't helpful. Ignites deal damage faster isn't helpful. Totem damage isn't helpful. Physical damage is a little helpful on this. Melee damage isn't too bad. Melee damage here, which is actually pretty good. Regen and stun threshold, but the double damage actually is a more multiplier. We don't have any sources of it, so it's just straight up 10% more damage on top of anything. And then with that combined with the extra little bit of melee damage is actually more DPS than this, even though it has just as many good ones. But this is way better defensively, and that's what I need at this exact moment. So that's what I have here. So yeah, still have this same, probably our best jewel overall, is pretty much the only jewel that I have in kind of voluntarily and not because I have to. So yeah, that's the tree setup at the moment. Like, you wouldn't have to go jump through any of these hoops in a trade league because you'd already have your Shaper Shield, which is a lot harder to farm than I thought it would be, and Yoke of Suffering. So all these hoops are basically solely a solo self-found problem, but I just want to prove that this build can do well in solo self-found. So what are my plans going forward? I'm still trying to get Yoke. I have this whole little stash full of Onyx amulets that I've been chancing. I've also been using all of my ancient orbs I've been getting on an amulet in hopes that I get it that way. I've been doing my beast stuff. I have a Kirax memory. I'm probably not going to use this anytime soon, but I do have a memory as well. That's kind of cool. Anyway, off topic. So yeah, I have a couple of ways, and I've also been magic finding, so I should go over that. So I got an aesthetic, which is really, really cool. In order to use it, what I've done, so it gives you rarity if you have a normal item equip and quantity if you have a magic item equip. Now, this is a very bad roll. I didn't want to use a divine on it. I only currently have one divine. So definitely don't want to waste that divine because I need that for meta crafting later on. But currently it's a lot better. My magic finding setup, I have just 10 quantity, but I have 243 rarity now with it. I'm using this helmet. I literally just took a helmet, The reason I took this is because it had a synthesized implicit that gave me regen, which was better than nothing. And then I just basically alt spammed rarity, tier 1 rarity, which took a couple hundred alterations, but I did get it. And then I bench crafted the increased rarity dropped by slaying rare or unique enemies. And then I'm using these two rings with 37, 35 rarity, and then they both have resistance on them. I do have to switch around jewels during this, which is kind of clunky. I also sometimes have to use these gloves for the resistance, which is also a bit clunky. But now that I have some other things switched around, that may not be the case. I haven't magic found since I made the switch. And for my normal item, I'm just running a pair of fugitive boots. I could also run two-toned boots. Normally, when people run this, they're doing it on a bow build, and they'll use a corrupted quiver, a corrupted normal quiver with +1 arrows. But I don't have that option, and I need this shield because it gives a lot of resist, a lot of life. Just a ton of my defenses are coming from the shield. So instead, I have to go with the boots. I'm losing out on movement speed, of course, but I whirling blades everywhere anyway, so I don't really miss the movement speed 99% of the time. And that's pretty much my magic finding setup. It's pretty good. I would like to get... I can't touch this because my chances of getting 4 green sockets are very low. Also, I just don't have a lot of chromatic orbs. I happen to get lucky. This took, by the way, in order to get this with the benchcraft, which I did by putting it in there and spamming the at least 3 green. Where are you? Yeah, this one right here, at least 3 green sockets, which takes 120 chromes. Took me like 600 or so chromatics in order to get this. So basically, when you're stuck, you got to jump through hoops and use your resources. It's unfortunate. I'm seeing the same thing with my fusings right now to get my next upgrade in body armors. But yeah, when you're in solo self-found, you basically have to just jump through as many hoops as you can in order to get done what you need to get done to progress. Sometimes things don't go ideally, and that's been the case. Although I've been very lucky in other regards. So I've been very unlucky and very lucky, depending on the situation. But yeah, in terms of body armors, it hasn't been going super well. That's pretty much it for all the gear stuff. I forgot to show this last time. I'm actually considering this. This is cool, unique. I did also find this. I've never actually found one of these before in an abyssal depth, so pretty interesting. I'm not actually going to use it, but it's pretty cool. But I got Nature's Patience, which gain 2 grasping vines each second while stationary, 2% chance to deal double damage per grasping vine, 1% less damage taken per grasping vine. Right now, we move around a lot, but a lot of the defenses in this character are based on less damage taken through Fortify, through Heartstopper, through Spell Suppression, that kind of thing. This would give us 10% less damage taken and 20% chance to deal double damage. So it could be actually very substantially good if the defense is good enough that we can kind of just sit and face tank certain bosses like Pinnacle bosses and stuff. So I'm considering it, and I'll probably test it when I have other things sorted. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I actually did finally get a fight for survival, and it is a 15% one as well. I'm not going to use this because, as I've explained in the comments, this is kind of like a frequently asked question. The reason I don't use this is because it doesn't benefit Heatshiver in any way. The fire damage, which is roughly half of our damage, isn't really benefited from the cold penetration. So yeah, I can't really think of a lot of situations where I'd like to use this. You can use this before you get Heatshiver. Like if you're in a situation where I was, where for the first couple of days I didn't have a Heatshiver yet, this would be amazing to have, obviously, to like shoot you forward. But once you get Heatshiver, you're probably better off with just rare jewels with, various damage rolls onto them. So that's my thought process. I get asked that a lot. I don't think oh yeah, here's my really awful Venter's Gamble with all negative resists, reduced quantity, reduced rarity. And then I have another Venture's Gamble here, which at least has increased rarity and increased cold damage, but otherwise very bad. So haven't been lucky with those. I'm holding on to them though, so I can trade a bunch of them for rerolls on them basically to the vendor. Essences, you can definitely tell which ones I've been using and which ones I haven't been. The cold damage, the flat cold damage, I'm still trying to roll. I'm basically always going to be trying to roll a better claw until I get a fractured claw. You can actually make a fractured claw, but you can go to the Horta crafting station. It's very expensive. I've only fracture a random modifier on an item with at least 4 modifiers locking in place. So what I'd want is at least 2 of the modifiers that I want: crit chance, attack speed, or flat cold damage, all tier 1 essence rolled. And I would want 2 of them, and then I would put this on here to make it a 50-50 to basically fracture one of them. So I'd kind of just essence spam like crit chance until I got crit chance and attack speed, or crit chance and tier 1 cold. And then I'd do this. I've only fought like 2 unique harvest beasts so far, and I haven't gotten any of the Oshabi fights yet. So I wouldn't be able to craft this even if I had the life force otherwise. But at some point, I may have to resort to doing that in the long run. Currently, once I get yoke, I'm probably okay to start striving towards pinnacle bosses. I've done, a couple of guardians. I can do guardians. It's not super comfy just yet, but it is doable. I'd like more damage and more defenses before I start doing guardians consistently, but I'm basically very close to the point where I can start thinking about doing pinnacle bosses. On my trade league version, I did pinnacle bosses when I had about 8 million shaper DPS, and currently I have, well, a lot less than that. I have like 5 million shaper DPS, maybe even a little less than that. But once I get Yoke of Suffering, I'll be close enough. Gems, I forgot to go through this. So I did fail to get a level 21 Frost Blades in my last batch. I'm currently leveling up more. They're currently level 19, so I'm actually close to, well, I'll have to Gem Cutter's Prism them all again and level them to 20 again. So actually I'm not that close. But what I did do is I got a level 21 Ice Bite. So I went through and I corrupted all of my support gems when they hit level 20, because I had already 20 quality'd them. And I only 21'd one of them, but it happened to be Ice Bite. I do have 23. I have a 2023 Frost Blades at the moment. And so basically I just took one of my failed ones that happened to get +3 quality. So gives a little extra damage from the quality, which is nice. Oh, two of the things I was going to do that I forgot to do, and I will do right this instance, is I was going to actually quality my Hatred and Grace as well. See if I can get 21 on either of them. Unfortunately, I did not. But I also didn't D-level either of them to 19, so good enough. Hatred's actually getting 21 from my amulet from the +1 cold skill gems. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, I had to kind of jump through hoops to make this work, but it seems to be working okay. And yeah, I guess right now my goals are just get more levels, get Yoke of Suffering, get my 6th link evasion based body armor going, and I'll be off to the races. So I hope you enjoyed. I will probably only play this for like 2 or 3 more days. I'll try to get to pinnacle bosses down in that time. Probably aim for like level 95 or so during that time, and I'll be pretty happy with that. Then I have to start preparing for the events. So hope you guys enjoyed. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.